To my son Derek, who actually made something of himself. Mom raised her wine glass high. The whole table watched. Aunt smiled. Cousins nodded. My brother smirked from across the table like he owned the room. Then Mom added, "A real penthouse. Unlike some people still renting a one-bedroom at almost 30. Every single eye turned to me. My aunt chuckled. My cousin covered her mouth, and Mom wasn't done. Maybe if Natalie spent less time doodling and more time working, she'd have a real home too. The laughter came fast. It rolled across the table like a wave. They had no idea what was coming in 6 weeks. My name is Natalie. I'm 28 years old. And yes, I rent a one-bedroom apartment. It's small, simple, nothing fancy, but it's mine. I pay for it with my own money. I keep it clean. I decorated it myself. And until that dinner, I was actually proud of it. But in my family, that means nothing. See, I'm a freelance graphic designer. I work from home. I build logos, brands, websites, all kinds of creative work for clients around the world. I love my job. I really do. It's not glamorous. It won't land me on magazine covers or get me invites to fancy parties. But it's honest work, and I'm good at it. My brother Derek, he's 32, a real estate agent, the kind who wears designer suits, drives a leased luxury car, and posts every vacation on Instagram like it's a press release. And Mom worships him. She always has. Growing up, I was the other one. I got good grades. Didn't matter. I won an art competition in high school. Mom forgot to come. I graduated college with honors. Derek showed up late and spent the whole dinner talking about a deal he was closing. I wasn't rich. I wasn't flashy. I didn't post luxury vacations or flash wads of cash online. But I had something they never bothered to notice. I was building something real, quietly, on my own terms. If your family ever made you feel invisible while celebrating someone else, hit subscribe and drop where you're watching from. I read every single comment. And trust me, you're not alone. That dinner was supposed to be a celebration. Mom organized the whole thing. She picked an upscale restaurant downtown, white tablecloths, low lighting, a private section in the back just for our family. All of it, for Derek. He had just closed on a new penthouse, 3 bedrooms, floor-to-ceiling views, a rooftop terrace, the whole package, and Mom would not stop talking about it. She passed her phone around the table, showed everyone the listing photos, pointed out the countertops, the walk-in closet, the imported tile in the bathroom. "This is what success looks like," she said. "My son, self-made." I sat there, quiet, trying to disappear. But Aunt Karen didn't let that happen. She leaned across the table and smiled at me. "Natalie, sweetie, what do you even do again? Isn't it just drawing on a computer?" I opened my mouth to explain, to talk about branding, about the clients I worked with, about the contracts I had signed. But Mom cut me off. "It's a hobby, Karen, not a real career." The words hit like a slap. Derek grinned. "You know what? I could introduce you to some successful people if you want. Help you learn how business actually works." I didn't respond. What was I supposed to say? Then Mom made an announcement. She cleared her throat, raised her glass again. "I want everyone to know, I'm giving Derek $80,000 from the family savings, a congratulations gift for his new home. $80,000. My stomach dropped. I remembered asking for help with college tuition years ago. Mom told me there was no money. She said I'd have to figure it out on my own. I did. I worked 2 jobs while taking classes. I stayed up until 3 in the morning finishing assignments. I graduated with student loans that took me years to pay off. And now, $80,000? Just like that? I couldn't help myself. Did I ever get anything? I asked quietly. Mom blinked, then laughed. "Honey, you didn't earn it." The table went silent, then someone chuckled nervously. Then another. And slowly, the laughter came back, like nothing happened, like what she said was perfectly fine. I excused myself to the bathroom. My hands were shaking. As I walked past Derek's chair, I heard him whisper to Mom, "Don't worry. She's always been jealous. She'll get over it." I didn't cry. I wanted to, but I didn't. What I did was worse. I believed him. 2 weeks later, I found out about a family brunch. Not from an invite, not from a text, from Instagram. There they all were. Mom, Derek, his new girlfriend, Aunt Karen, a few cousins, sitting at a trendy cafe clinking mimosas. I wasn't invited. I called Mom that night. "Oh, honey," she said, "we just figured you'd be busy with your little projects." Little projects. That's all I was to them. Derek's girlfriend was new. She had a Chanel bag. Everyone gushed over it. Me? I wasn't even worth a text. A few weeks later, Grandma turned 75. Mom threw a big party, rented out the back of a restaurant, invited the whole family. When I arrived, I looked for my seat. It wasn't at the main table. Mom had placed me at the kids' table, literally, with my teenage cousins, at a round table in the corner, away from everyone else. I told myself not to make a scene. I sat down, smiled. But at some point, I needed to talk to Grandma. I hadn't seen her in months. I walked toward the main table. Derek saw me coming. He didn't miss a beat. "Oh, look," he said loudly. The starving artist escaped her corner. Everyone at the table laughed. Mom said nothing. I kept walking. Reached Grandma. Leaned down to hug her. She grabbed my hand, squeezed it tight, and quietly she whispered, "I see you, sweetheart." She was the only one. Then came the exploitation. Derek announced he was launching a luxury home staging company. Big plans, fancy website, high-end clients, and Mom, without asking me, volunteered my design work for free. "Natalie will handle the branding," she said. "It's the least she can do. It's family." I was sitting right there. She didn't even look at me. Later, she called to give me the details. "You should be grateful he's even letting you be part of it," she said. Grateful. I did the work anyway. I designed a full branding package, logo, color palette, social media templates, a complete visual identity. I spent nights on it, weekends. I made it beautiful. A few weeks later, Derek had a networking event, a big one, local investors and clients. I found a video online. He stood on stage presenting my work, showing my designs on a big screen. He never mentioned my name, not once. When I confronted him later, he shrugged. "What do you want, a trophy? You're lucky I gave you exposure." Exposure. That's what my work was worth to him. Nothing. After that, I started pulling back. I stopped answering every call, stopped showing up to every dinner. I told myself it was fine. I told myself I didn't care. But late at night, I sat at my desk in my tiny apartment, and I poured everything into something they didn't know about. Something I had been building in secret. What they didn't know was that I hadn't just been doodling. For 2 years, I had been building my own boutique design agency online. I worked with international clients, startups, small businesses, a few mid-sized companies overseas who paid well and paid on time. I did it all under a brand name no one in my family recognized, and quietly, very quietly, I had saved over $120,000. More than Derek's supposed penthouse gift. Every time they laughed at my one-bedroom apartment, they had no idea I was 3 months away from acquiring my first commercial property. A building, downtown, a real piece of real estate. I also kept records, screenshots of every time Derek claimed my work as his own, every dismissive text from Mom, every receipt. I kept it all. A mentor once told me something I never forgot. Don't react, don't explain, just show up when the time is right and let them choke on their own words. That's exactly what I planned to do. The only person who knew everything was Jordan. She was my college friend, my business partner, a sharp-minded marketing strategist who had watched my family treat me like garbage for years, and she was done with it. "Nat, these people are delusional," she said one night over takeout. "You've outgrown them. You know that, right?" I didn't say anything, but she was right. That same week we finalized the deal. Our agency had been acquired by a major branding firm, a big one, the kind that handles Fortune 500 clients. They wanted our portfolio, our client list, and most importantly, they wanted me. The payout was significant, life changing, really. And they offered me a leadership position. I signed the papers on a Tuesday afternoon. Then, that Friday, I got a call. Derek was engaged. Mom was throwing a lavish engagement dinner at a five-star restaurant. Private room, champagne, fancy food. I got my invite at the last minute, through a group text, like an afterthought. "You're coming, right?" Mom texted. I almost said no, but then I overheard something. I was at Aunt Karen's house, picking up something I had left there weeks ago. Mom was on the phone in the kitchen. I paused in the hallway. "Honestly," Mom said, "I don't even know why we invite her. She'll just sit there looking miserable. She has nothing to contribute." My jaw tightened, but I didn't storm in. I didn't scream. I walked out quietly. And I made a decision. This would be the last time I sat at their table as the disappointment. But I wouldn't make a scene. I wouldn't cry. I wouldn't beg. I would let the truth speak for itself. 2 days before the dinner, I packed a folder, evidence, proof of ownership, a printed article, and I waited. The engagement dinner was everything you'd expect. Fancy private dining room, white tablecloths, champagne already poured, soft music playing from hidden speakers. Everyone was dressed up. Mom wore a new dress. Derek looked smug in a tailored suit. His fiancée smiled nervously beside him. I showed up on time, sat at the end of the table. Nobody greeted me properly, just a few nods. A quick, "Hey." The conversation flowed around me, about Derek's new projects, his investments, his vision. Then Mom stood up. She tapped her glass with a fork. "I'd like to make a toast," she announced. Everyone quieted. Mom smiled wide. "To my son, Derek, the man who built an empire from nothing, who bought a penthouse before 35, who is about to marry the love of his life." Applause, she continued. "You've made me so proud. Your success is the result of hard work, dedication, and talent." Derek nodded modestly. Fake modesty, of course. Then Mom turned toward me. Her smile shifted. Pity crept into her eyes. "And Natalie, we're just glad you could make it. Maybe one day you'll find your path too." Polite laughter rippled around the table. I set my glass down, and I stood up. Everyone turned. Mom looked confused. "What are you? Actually, Mom," I said calmly, "I have an announcement of my own." Derek smirked. "Oh, finally got a real job?" I didn't flinch. I reached into my bag and pulled out a magazine, a well-known business publication, national distribution. I opened it to a bookmark page and placed it on the table. The headline read, "Under the Radar Creative Agency, acquired for 7 figures. Meet the woman behind it." Beside the headline was a photo. My face, my name, my agency's logo. The acquisition amount printed in bold. Silence crashed over the room. Mom stared. Her mouth opened, then closed. Derek leaned forward, squinted at the page. "That's got to be fake," he muttered. I reached into my bag again. This time I pulled out a legal document, a property deed. "This is the deed to a commercial building downtown," I said. "I purchased it 2 months ago, fully paid." I looked at Derek. "By the way, your staging company rents from that building. Technically, you're my tenant." His face went pale. Mom stammered, "You never told us." "You never asked," I said quietly. "You were too busy calling it a hobby." I placed one last item on the table. A printed stack of screenshots. Every text where Derek took credit for my work. Every email where he claimed the designs as his own. Every photo from the networking event where he presented my branding without mentioning my name. Derek's fiancée leaned over. Her eyes widened. "Is this true?" she asked him. He didn't answer. I gathered my things. "Enjoy the dinner," I said. "Congratulations on the engagement. I won't be staying." I turned and walked out. Jordan was waiting outside, leaning against her car, smiling. How'd it go? I breathed out. Felt lighter than I had in years. Perfect. A few days later, Mom called. I didn't pick up. She left a voicemail. Her voice was shaky. Natalie, I think we should talk. I didn't know. I didn't understand. Please call me back. I listened to it once. Then I deleted it. Derek's staging company shut down within a month. Investors pulled out. Turns out, people don't like working with someone who steals credit. The screenshots had gone semi-viral in local business circles. He never called me. Not once. Grandma did, though. She didn't scold me. She didn't ask me to apologize. She said, I always knew you were the strong one. I'm proud of you, sweetheart. That call meant everything. I don't hate my family. I really don't. But I'm done shrinking myself to make them comfortable. I'm done apologizing for not being loud or flashy. I'm done waiting for approval that was never going to come. For the first time in my life, I didn't need their applause. I didn't need their recognition. I had something better. I had myself. Their silence used to hurt me. It used to keep me up at night. It used to make me question everything I was building. But that night, walking out of that restaurant, stepping into the cool air, seeing Jordan smile at me like she knew I had finally done it, I realized something. Their silence didn't hurt anymore. It felt like freedom. If you've ever been underestimated by the people who were supposed to believe in you, I see you. I really do. Maybe it was a parent who never noticed your wins, a sibling who took credit for your work, a family that made you feel small every chance they got. I've been there, and I want you to know your worth doesn't depend on their approval. Hit that subscribe button if this story hit home. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. I read every single one. And your story might just inspire the next video. Have you ever had to prove yourself to people who refuse to see your worth? Tell me about it below. You're not alone. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next one.